Hello, everyone, and welcome to my Session 2 teaching memo and Session 3 assignments. Happy summer solstice, which takes place in our time zone at 6:34 p.m. Today will be the longest day, that's the amount of daylight, of the year. So enjoy. There's also a full moon tonight. It's the fourth full moon of the season, which makes it a blue moon. Please don't tempt me to sing. The June full moon is also known as the strawberry moon, and that's when strawberries are in season. Dr. Laura and I took part in a summer solstice celebration at Coney Island on Saturday. My stepdaughter convinced us to attend the mermaid parade, so we took our granddaughter, Elena, who just happened to have a mermaid outfit, and joined about 7,000 other fishy-looking people. And it was an event of Mardi Gras-like proportions. And I thought I'd just share a couple of photos with you. There's the start of the parade. There is Sophie and Elena. Notice they both have fish-like outfits on. There's Dr. Tom with Elena. And there are, the top of my head, Dr. Laura, Sophie, and Elena in a car leading the parade. One of Sophie's neighbors invited us to sit in his car, so I thought that was pretty cool. So we had a pretty good time. We didn't get to see all the parade. It had to last about 3 hours long, but we saw a lot of it, and it was definitely an experience. Also, yesterday was Father's Day, and I got to spend some time with my kids, which was very nice. I think I have a picture of me with my kids. If I can, yeah, there it is. There's Dan and Kate, and that's Logan back there. He kind of hung out with us. But they took me out to brunch at the Beekman Arms in Rhinebeck, New York. So that's a tradition we have. So that was very nice, and that's the hat I bought at Coney Island. So I am now an official Indiana Jones look-alike. So, enough of that. Little housekeeping. Again, many of you had some issues with the embedded questions in my video. This is the information I gave you last week. I'm repeating it here, that if you don't see a grade under the video and you can't take the video, I want you to click on these video links and then send me the questions and the answers, so I can put a grade in for you. For some of you, there was an issue with the online quiz also, and I mentioned that. I gave you a heads up about that in the last teaching memo, although obviously some of you didn't read that memo because I received many emails about the questions, the matching questions that weren't graded correctly. So I went in and changed all those grades, and so everything should be okay now. I will go back from time to time if somebody has yet to take it. But again, so a lot of you took advantage of the quiz discussion board, which is exactly what I want you to do before you take the test, the quiz a second time, so you can discuss, questions that you struggle with. And the two you struggle with were, one, the fact that using a crayon was not an accommodation and it was not a modification. If you can think of a reason why a student would need to use a crayon as a writing utensil to level the playing field for them, please let me know, because I put that in there because I couldn't think of any. So also the question about what kind of process response to intervention is, and one of you correctly pointed everyone to the Spencer and Cohen chapter in chapter 1. It was in the first paragraph, I think, of the RTI section. So that's what I want you to do before you take the test the second time. The one thing I noticed in several double entry journals was that people did not connect or watch my video explaining what I thought were the big ideas of the 3 texts. It's important in the upcoming session that you watch and make connections to my videos on response to intervention, because there is material in there that is not in the 3 articles that I have you, or the 1 article I have you annotating, and the other articles in book chapter that I have you connecting, making connections to. So make sure you make a couple of connections to my video. I would also suggest to maximize your learning in the course, search for my comments in the discussion board and take a crack at my teaching memo post. Only 7 people or 6 people took that risk this session. You find my post by using the search feature that's in the upper right hand corner of Blackboard. So if you go to, if I go to all discussions here and click on the discussion board, if you click on the search function here, I think I might have mentioned this last week as well, but it's worth repeating. Type in Mowini and then go, and you'll see all my posts, and there are a lot of them. As you can see that I've shared articles in many of them. The story of Snow Creek, I shared that article with my wife, Dr. Laura. So that is a suggestion I would highly, highly recommend that you take advantage of. So that is my advice for the upcoming sessions. I always ask good questions and also share websites. Don't be a hit and run DBer. Use the discussion boards to advance your understanding and knowledge of the assessment process. You can also challenge me with thought-provoking questions. Also, I received an email from one of you asking how can I participate in the discussion boards more adequately. And my advice to you and to all of you is to respond to my questions, or for you folks to ask questions. That's not part of the rubric that you ask questions, but that's how you stimulate discussions. But make sure your questions are relevant and focused on our topic. Don't say, I've got a principal who's really a jerk and I don't know how to deal with it. That's not the kind of question I want. All right, so keep the questions focused on our topic. I also want to remind you all that you receive points, and this is another reminder, for making your initial post early in the session, so it does not pay to wait. Also, I notice many of you are not referencing the text in your response posts or other articles. Now, you don't have to, if you're using our text, just put Chapelway, just put Popham 2000, I think it's 14 or 13, and or a page number, just so I know when I go to grade your discussion boards, I can see that you're referencing it. But make sure you are referencing it. Don't just throw in a Popham 2012 or 13 and then make no mention of it or no connection to it. So that's something I'll be looking for and giving you feedback on. Finally, I want to remind everyone that you should be filling out your vocabulary in your own words, which you can find in the course materials handouts for each of the first 4 sessions. You can see that there are the accommodations that was in the last session. You can see that there are alternate assessments. I believe that was mentioned in the last session discussion board. Curriculum-based measurement, response to intervention, that's coming up in this session. So be filling that out as you go in, and I have typically given the definitions in all my presentations. So I think, plus I also have 2 quizzes on vocabulary, so that will also help you with your vocabulary in your own words. All right, on to session 1 and 2 assignments. I've graded all the double entry journals that were submitted. I was very impressed with the quality of many of them. The assessment literacy discussion board is now closed. I will be grading it this week. For your information, each DB, as well as each double entry journal, will increase in weight as the course goes on. This is a grading system that accounts for students' use of feedback in the course as the course continues. Your final discussion board and your final double entry journal will carry the most weight. To make sure you check, make sure you check the feedback I give you for every assignment. This makes sense when you're having an assignment that is repeated throughout the semester or throughout the year, that you're grading the ones that are done later that have much more weight. This makes much more sense. So it allows for you to making mistakes in the first ones and not getting penalized too much for it. I used to have equal weight for everything, but I am now becoming more, my grading procedures are becoming more assessment illuminated. Yes, that's the word I'm trying to say. I wanted to mention a comment in Group 1 about the stoplight method video I shared in course materials. Those people correctly identified it is a type of formative assessment and an exit ticket used to evaluate student learning prior to the next class. Angela added a nice twist to the conversation when she mentioned that she inherited a stoplight from a previous teacher and decided to laminate stoplight cards, which allowed her to check for understanding during the class rather than at the end. I'm a big fan of laminating. I have a laminator in my basement, like I used to do with the double entry journal bookmark that I placed in session 1 handout. So if you want to download that, you can print that on I think 8x4 or 8x5 index cards. You'll know when you see it. Christina went a bit further with the exit ticket, differentiating it for low, mid, and high level groups, which I thought was pretty good, asking each one to do a little more complicated or a little more sophisticated work to show what they knew than the lower group. So I thought that was nice, differentiating her formative assessments. Many of you mentioned observing teachers that use questionable strategies, and this is an age-old thing. And you tried to excuse them because they were grizzled veterans. Well, please don't, because what they're doing is they're passing along their bad habits to new teachers, which really irks me. Jacqueline got me depressed by mentioning one of her cooperating teachers that taught Romeo and Juliet by having the students read the acts, then watching a movie, then read the acts, then watching the movie, then giving them a test at the end. She suggested having students write text messages to the characters and creating Facebook pages with daily status updates. So that's the kind of heads up creative thinking that I'm hoping that all of you walk away from this course with. So thank you, Jacqueline, for sharing that with us, even though it was a little late. Most of us didn't see it, but I saw it, so I'm making it available for everyone else. The next session, let me talk about assignments for session 3. The next session will conclude the 2 units on special ed assessment. This week you have a different kind of discussion board. You need to go into Intervention Central, the What Works Clearinghouse, or Intervention Hero, and I have links to them here, and I have links to them on the discussion board. Let me see if I can. Here's Intervention Central, here's Intervention Hero, and here's the What Works Clearinghouse. The What Works Clearinghouse is a government-funded web page with actual research-based. Not all the interventions on Intervention Central are research-based, but most of them are. But on What Works Clearinghouse, all of them are. And here you would go down here and click on a topic, and you can see this children and youth with disabilities, college and career prep, dropout prevention, early childhood ed, math, post-secondary ed, science, student behavior, etc., etc. So there's all kinds of interventions here. So I don't want to see repetition. So make sure you check the discussion board that no one else has put something on there. Let me just go into the discussion. So some people have posted already, and I will show you. It looks like 3 people have posted already. Make sure you go into your group. It looks like Keisha here has posted outside of her group, but make sure you click on your group, which group 5. I'm sure that's Catherine. Nope, that's Keisha. She did do it in a group. So that's good. I expected Catherine's to be on there, but there's also an exemplar. Michelle doesn't see your name. I will change. Michelle, you are in group 1. I will fix that. I thought you're in the same group that you were for the last discussion board. Okay, so click on your group as Keisha did, and or Kesha, I'm not sure which is that. And I have instructions on how you upload your video. Um, what what I give you instructions on how to embed it into, so we can just click on your video rather than having to cut and paste the like as Keisha did here. You'll have to cut and paste this link into your web browser. So I show you in the course materials how to embedding a video in the discussion board. So I show you how to do that. So this is one of my favorite discussion boards. I love hearing what you're doing. A lot of you, this is a place where a lot of you actually go take these and use them. Although school is ending now, you can talk about how you might want to implement it next year, and you'll get credit for that implementation category. So make sure you don't have to cite any text, but make sure you react to at least 5 of these posts on 3 different days, just like before, in a way that shows me you read it. I also would like you to add the link to your intervention so we can all click on it. And if there's lots of times in Intervention Central to be a handout, also download that handout and then click and add that handout to your post. You can use let me see, if you go into the post, you can use the paperclip to attach a handout. So do that. Make sure you do a link to the video so we can click on it if we want to, and also make sure if there's a handout, you upload that, you attach it so we can download that as well. And this will be open for 2 weeks, and I believe that's July 3rd it ends. But I would recommend doing it this week, because there's going to be another discussion board that overlaps next week. So I would get it done this week so you don't have to worry about having 2 discussion boards going at the same time. People complain about that in the past, but I'm giving you a heads up so you won't do it. In group 4, there was a late Sunday night conversation. There were many late Sunday night conversations, by the way, about videotaping in many of the Turo courses. Of course, this is to make you more comfortable taping yourself teaching for your EdTPA assessment. While Angela was already certified, she felt viewing video of herself was helpful. So there's comment from someone who's already done her EdTPA. So I'm trying to head off any too much video complaints. You also have your second double entry journal due, which will be an annotation of the Fisher and Fry chapter with connections to Bender and Short and Cohen and Spencer. There are also many articles. Don't feel like you are confined to connecting to those articles. There are many articles and handouts for this session. You can see there are Fisher and Fry, there's vocabulary in your own words, Fisher and Fry, Cohen and Spencer, Shores and Bender, RTI database decision making, curriculum-based measurement manual, response to intervention for emotional disorders, response to intervention, this is the New York State School website, screening, progress monitoring and intervention tools, excellent website, Center for Response to Intervention Action Network, Response to Intervention for grades K through 2, all you teachers of young children, and Tiered Instruction Intervention. So all good stuff, all things that if you find interesting, worthwhile, you should connect to in your double entry journal. So you have 2 weeks to do that. So it's important to watch my video, especially this week, because this week I don't follow the text specifically, and there's a good deal of extra information, especially about curriculum-based measurement and progress monitoring. So if you don't know the definition of those two words, it's because you didn't watch this presentation. So I'm giving you a heads up. Watch it. It'll also help you with your double entry journal to know what I think is important. So I'm looking forward to watching your videos of interventions and getting to meet all of you more personally. See you in 1 week.